Hello, I'm Mr. Tim. I teach acting and improv. All right, first things first, let's make this a little more interesting for the kids. First, let's talk about warm-up games and improv games. This is a super important part of the process for me because it is where you really get to see kids come alive and get excited about what they're doing. My favorite one is Hotspot. That's where you have a chance to stand in the middle of a circle and sing out whatever you want. This is not about sounding good or having anything to do with being a good singer. It's about confidence. It's about letting everything out. So an example of this would be if I jumped in the circle and I said, "This girl is on fire," and then someone tapped me out and said, "Near, far, wherever you are," and then someone tapped my shoulder and said, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." It's all about having the confidence to jump in there and really give it a try. And again, it doesn't matter if you sound good or bad or in the middle. Another favorite game is the Twitter hashtag game. That would be where we each take turns saying one word and we're building a story together. So if I said I, and then you said went, and then to the store to buy toilet paper, but there wasn't any in there. Hashtag coronavirus situation. And the last person that it lands on would get to choose the hashtag. Another favorite game is Dr. Know-It-All. This is another confidence game where I have kids line up and I ask them to pick something they're an expert on and to pick a wacky doctor name that they want to come up with. And they have to stand as a public speaking exercise. They have to stand in front of the group, and whenever someone has a question for the doctor, we pretend like we're on a game show. We ask them questions and they answer the questions right away, speaking as confidently as possible. This is an example of some of the games we start off with. The first lesson I like to go over is the rules of improv. So I talk about yes and, not denying. I talk about the importance of really listening, not asking questions. And then I have them jump in and start doing improv exercises. A really great segue into this for kids especially is the Welcome to My Party game. You might know it as a couple of other different titles, but I call it Welcome to My Party. That's where I give each child a specific character to come in as, and someone is hosting the party. This is teaching them the idea of straight man and unusual thing. So for any movie or any TV show you've ever seen, there's always a straight man, the normal one, the person who acts as the audience member, the audience's point of view, I should say. And then there's the unusual thing, the wacky, weird, crazy character that gets to be goofy. And I want to show them how much fun it is to be both, because the person hosting the party is the straight man, the one calling it out, and they get to have the ridiculous reaction to what everyone else is doing, which is truly what makes things funny. Things are not funny. It's not funny to just like watch someone be a weird character. What's funny is the straight man reaction to that weird character that's like, "Willis, what are you doing?" Right? What you talking about, Willis? If that makes sense. So then we would go into, we would go from that improv game to doing actual improv scenes. We would also discuss the 8 comedy character types that you see in sitcoms. And so I write out each character type and have them give examples from TV shows they watch to make them feel more engaged about the material. And then I have them get up on their feet and move about the room as those 8 comedy character types, right? So one example is the materialistic one, the dumb one, or the lovable loser, the mean one. "What are you doing here?" Right? That sort of thing. So then they move about the room in those characters, and then we try to assign scenes where they get to pretend to be those characters. And then I love to assign commercials, funny commercials for the kids, short snippets that they can learn and memorize, and 2-person scenes and monologues. And when we talk about monologues, we also talk about writing comedy. And this is a really fun way for them to learn what they think is funny and how they could create something funny. I think a lot of people think I'm not a funny person, so how am I going to make this work for me? I think every single person on earth is funny, has some sort of ability to at least recognize humor, and kids are so uninhibited that they just naturally use their imaginations to come up with anything, and I want to help them hone that and focus that with my definition of comedy, which is saying something truthful, but saying it in a way that no one else can say but me. So that's where that twist or that spin comes in. And that's where we start to talk about misdirection, which is I made you think I was going to say one thing, but then I said something else. Yeah, so those are a bunch of games and exercises that I want to play with the kids, and I think we would have a really fun class. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know. Thanks again. I'm Mr. Tim.